Women, we need to make our own money. I used to talk about living unapologetically, but now I am living unapologetically. If we start taking responsibility for where we are, that alone is empowerment. Do I want my daughter to see this? If we really, really take the time to look within ourselves, we know this is not the right relationship.
You gave 2 weeks notice in your relationship. I love that. Welcome back to the Healing Train. What a journey it's been. Last season was full of truth, tears, breakthroughs, and deep connection. Thank you for showing up, for listening, and for being brave enough to heal with me. This season, we're going even deeper. Expect raw, honest conversations with guests from around the world. Survivors, experts, healers, each bringing powerful stories and wisdom to remind you you're not alone and your healing matters. If you're carrying pain, confusion, or questions that feel too heavy to hold on your own, this space is for you. Take a breath, come as you are, and know this: healing isn't always pretty, but it's always worth it. And together, we'll keep moving, one stop at a time. So hop back on and let's ride. Let me introduce you to today's guest, Doina Oncel. Doina is one of WXN Canada's most powerful women and a role model in Barbie's You Can Be Anything campaign. For her commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, she received the NCWIT Educator Award and the International Women's Day Award. Doina's passion is clear: empowering others to build wealth and take control of their financial future, no matter where they start. Doina knows firsthand that financial freedom isn't about how much you make. It's about understanding how money works. She went from being on welfare with $60,000 in debt to becoming an investor, buying her first home, and transforming her life, all by learning smart money habits. Doina is on a mission to help young people and families do the same. She created Money Made, Financial Fundamentals for Youth, a course that teaches real-life money skills like budgeting, saving, and investing in a fun and relatable way. Let's meet Doina. Doina, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Anya.
Doina, you and I go way back, and I know a lot about you, and you know a lot about me. I got your permission to read a post that you did on your 50th birthday. Woohoo! And it really touched me, and I thought, what a great way to start our episode. So please allow me to read that, okay?
Go right ahead.
You say, happy 50th birthday to me. Today, I reflect on my life's journey and am in awe of all the moments that shaped me. Every challenge, every victory, every tear, and every joy. I am grateful for my children, who are my heart and my reason. They remind me daily of what truly matters in life. I am grateful for every person who has touched my life along the way, whether briefly or for a lifetime. Each of you holds a place in my story. Today, I celebrate not just my life here on earth, but the courage I've found to live unapologetically. I am no longer afraid to be who I am. I've learned that every moment, good or bad, is a lesson, a gift. I've been through so much, seen highs and lows, and through it all, I stand stronger, more resilient, and more determined to live fully. At 50, I feel more alive than ever, more passionate about the future, and more committed to making an impact. I am excited for what's to come, for the dreams I still have yet to fulfill, the lives I will touch, and the growth that is still ahead of me. Whether it's continuing impacting youth at Hervolution, starting new ventures, or simply showing up as my authentic self, I'm ready. Here's to life. Here's to living boldly, fiercely and unapologetically. Here's to embracing every moment and continuing to grow in ways I never thought possible. I am grateful for every breath, every lesson, every smile, and for being alive to witness this beautiful journey. Thank you for being part of my story, and here's to the next chapter.
Thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness, I got emotional even though I'm the one that wrote it.
And sometimes we can't believe that we wrote what we actually write.
Yes. I was into the space where I relived the moment while I was writing that because I
Mm.
took some time to think about it and to
Mm.
put the words together. So yeah, thank you.
So tell me then, now that you're mentioning that it took you back to that moment, can you talk to us about that moment when you wrote that, when you were reliving and
Yeah, so I think the fact that I live to be 50, right? That's why I'm like, let's go mention my age because I live to be 50. I
Mhm.
know many people don't get to be the age, 35, 40, right? So I think it's a privilege. So, and I'm also feel like I'm more, never really been the one to see, I don't want to talk about my age or I don't want to disclose my age
Mm.
because I feel like I'm okay with where I'm at. The fact that I get to be this old, it's amazing. I have had certain, I would say, um, challenges or barriers that I had to overcome where
Yeah.
I didn't think I could see tomorrow.
Mm.
So the fact that I'm here now, it was a big moment for me, right? On my 50th birthday, I actually took a day to really reflect on my life and how far I've come. Because sometimes, I feel like we go through life and then we never take the time to appreciate.
Mhm.
And then we feel like I'm not doing me, especially now I speaking for me, I feel like I don't even do anything. I'm
Mm.
not, I haven't achieved anything. But then
Mm.
when I take the moment to actually look back, I'm like, oh my God, Doina, you've done a lot. Doina, you are amazing. But also knowing that I have a future ahead of me
Mhm.
and all of these things that I want to do still, life is not over.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm just starting. And also being at the age of 50, I feel different than when I turned 40. I feel like now I'm really, so on my 40th, I used to talk about living unapologetically.
Yeah.
But now I am living unapologetically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking and planning and strategizing, and now it's execution time. We're going
Yes.
to be unapologetic about anything I do, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm glad that you take those moments to reflect and see where you were and where you are and where you're headed.
Yeah.
Many people don't take the time to do that.
Hmm.
And I'd like for people to do that more. And I encourage people to do that more. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing and thank you for your vulnerability, for sure. You've definitely traveled on many roads. You've had moments probably where you've wondered if you'd make it. You questioned yourself, your decisions. And as humans, we all have those moments, right? You have them, I have them. Going back to your proclamation to showing up in the world unapologetically, I know that's what you were intending at the age of 40, and now you're actually living it. From your perspective, what does it truly mean to be unapologetically yourself, showing up in the world that way? What does it mean?
I don't own an explanation to anyone. I want to live life with no regrets. Living unapologetically means that when I have a few seconds before I pass through, before I pass over, before my end of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to look back and say, I've done it all. Everything I wanted to do, I have nothing else left to do. I am ready to go. And also, knowing that I lived my authentic self and knowing that I did the things that I wanted to do and I found my purpose and I lived my purpose. To me, that's very important because, we all live unapologetically, so to speak, and to that could be different for us, different people. And some people may take it, I'm just going to go out there and do nothing with my life and feel sorry for myself. And I don't need anyone an explanation, which, okay, cool, that's fine. But is that going to take you to, to the stages of your life where you feel like you have achieved your purpose, or is it not? Are you going to look back and regret it? Right? For me, no regrets, baby. We gotta, like, I want to live my life to the point where I just look back and I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. Versus say, I wish I would have had more time to do this, right? I feel like for me, if we're going to talk about my purpose in life, and especially all of the barriers and all of the challenges that I've been through, I feel like those were stepping stones to build me to become stronger, but also not forget that other people go through the same, and look back and see if I can bring some people to the road of, living unapologetically, or to the road of freedom in a way. No abuse, no poverty, no, you know what I mean? Like, not feeling sorry for yourself, because I have been there, so I'm thinking I'm overcoming all these challenges.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's my purpose to look back and see, can I bring some other people with me? People that I want to, can I be the light for them? Can they see, look at me and say, if she did it, I could do it too, So that's, for me, I feel like that's my purpose, and that's the life I want to live, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Doina, why do you feel or you think some people struggle with that concept of showing up in the world, being truly themselves? What is the struggle there?
I think for the most part, it's a mindset thing, so people feel like they can't be the ones doing it. They also don't have role models to look up to. Like, if you are so you're living in a silo in a community where nobody's doing anything with their life, or nobody's escaping that life, you feel like you can't do it either. Imagine there's that experiment, was it like two frogs or something like that? You put them in a jar and you put the lid, and then they try to escape, and then eventually they realize that there's a lid and they can't. So even though you take the lid off, they just still stay there, because they feel like, oh, what's the point? I tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think
What they're
people,
used to as well, right? It's the comfort.
yeah, you have access to so much information, and people aren't really taking action, right? So if I were to speak about me, 30 years ago, internet didn't really exist. Access to information we didn't really have. If I wanted any sort of information, I have to go to the library and get a hard copy book.
Yep.
Remember those?
Yes, and you have certain days to return it, otherwise there's a penalty fee.
Yes, but you have to flip the pages. You have to go to read through. You cannot just put in a search bar and then they bring you the information. Like, you can, in a couple of seconds now, you have access to so much information versus back then. And still, I feel like, even though it was harder to find information, I knew I needed to do something for myself, right? While now I find it really shocking to see people, you have access to so much information and still not using that.
Yeah, so they're stuck still in their old patterns and the old ways, and they're not keeping up with the advances.
And it's also because, again, it's a mindset thing. That's why I said it's a mindset thing. You need to want it. You need to believe that you can do it. And then at the end of the day, again, my conclusion is this: with the end of the day, with all the information that we have access to, you still have to be the one to say, I'm taking that first step. Nobody's going to take that first step for you. Exactly. And we also live in a society where people are so used to somebody else doing everything for them.
Right.
But when it comes to your own life and the things that you want to do for yourself, it really is up to you to do it, And it is a bit harder, but at the same time, it's not, because again, this is why I'm like, I want to use me as that person to say, if she did it, I can do it too. You know what I mean? It's possible. It's hard, and everyone have their own, I would say, their own pathway, right? Even pathway to healing, pathway to success, pathway to financial freedom, pathway to everything, because everyone starts at different levels. But then, if we decide that we're gonna do it, we'll find a way. And
Mhm.
you know what I mean? The things are just gonna start to open up. We just have to trust the process, you know.
Absolutely. It does. It's a decision that we take and we want to move forward. We change our mindset. We do the work that we need to do to get to where we need to. But
Mm.
sometimes, Doina, I feel that we're stuck. We are so stuck. Like you said, it's the people that's surrounding us. We're in a bubble, right? And everyone around us, no one has done it. So we want to fit in. We want to fit in with the crowd. We have fears of standing out. We have fears of being different. We have fears of being judged. So, would you say we end up trapped in people pleasing? Do you feel that that's a huge impact as to why we don't show up, why we don't fulfill our dreams and live the life or even figure out what our purpose is?
Yes, so that's one way, but also we don't take the time to listen to ourselves. We don't
Mm,
spend enough time with ourselves because
self-reflection.
absolutely, when I came to Canada, I didn't speak a word of English. I didn't have anyone around me that I knew. I was literally here with one person. That was my dad that brought us to Canada, both my sister and I. And he was our abuser. And so did I give up and say, well, let me just put my hands up because, you know, it is what it is, right? I had to listen to myself and say, does this align with how I feel that I need for myself, what I deserve?
Mm,
No. I was holding on to my grandmother's words when she said to me, as when I was a child, she said to me, Doina, you're born to be somebody. So
mm,
every time I'll go through a situation, I'll go back to my grandmother's words and I say, my grandma, who's that one person that I loved the most and I trusted the most, she said,
mm,
I'm going to be somebody.
mm,
And this situation that I'm in right now, I don't feel like it's going to take me to that stage for me
mm,
to be somebody. I
mm,
don't know what is. I
mm,
don't know what that means. I just knew that it was something greater than where I was at that moment. So
mm.
we all have, if we really take time to really think deep down and find something that we can hold on to say that thing, that like the little burning fire, you know what I mean, like that, that is what is gonna I'm gonna hold on to, and know that if I am gonna be in a situation where I'm gonna be surrounded by people that are not actually the people that are gonna take me to that place where I need to be, I need to change that circle. And it's not easy. Like changing things, it's not easy.
Mm.
Sometimes you have to go against the culture,
Mhm.
right? Because in our culture, we don't do this.
Yeah.
Like when
Which
I,
is again conforming and
right,
fitting in to be
yes,
with the crowd.
absolutely. But then that's why this is why you need to listen to yourself. You know what? Because so when I came to Canada, all this happened. I took my dad to court for the abuse, and everybody like, we don't do this to our parents. I'm like, but culture or not culture, I feel like how my father treated me was not the right way. So I'm gonna go to court, because I needed, I needed somebody to help me to get out of that situation, right?
You need to
So
break free from the trauma
absolutely,
that you're constantly being exposed to.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
sometimes our culture is not a right fit.
Yeah.
Sometimes the circle, the people around us are not the right fit.
Yeah,
Sometimes even the religion might not be the right fit for some people.
absolutely. Hmm.
Some people might, and not to say religion is bad. I am all about religion, but I found that I need to find, even practicing a religion, I need to practice it with people who see things like I see things.
You
Some
don't want
people,
to just follow. You want to feel aligned and feel good about what you're
yes,
practicing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to listen to yourself. As soon as you decide
Mm.
that there's something more to you, you'll figure it out. And you need to trust it. Like again, I'm using me. Like I didn't speak a word of English. I didn't know any people. I didn't know anyone. So I still came through.
Mm.
So that's just to show that there's a way out,
Mhm.
right?
Of course, throughout your journey, we meet and we make decisions that isn't always the greatest, which
That's how you
I,
learn, right?
yeah, yeah.
If I look at me, 20 years ago versus me now, I'm completely different person. 20 years ago, guys will say stuff to me and I'll take it like, okay, because maybe you're right. And I've always had in my mind, because you see, as we try to grow and then we go through some abuse or trauma, right? It takes a bit of time. That's why patience is so important. That's why having meetings with yourself and figure out who you are first, it's so important, and not forget that. Because yes, there will be times where you can just kind of step off the path
Mm-hmm.
for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you meet the person that you think is the right person for you, but then they just kind of bring you back to that moment. And sometimes I find like it's also a test. For me, I just took it, this is a test to see, have I learned my lesson,
Listen.
right?
Mm.
And then so I'm like, okay, well, I went along for a bit, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong path. I'm here with this person that's the wrong person for me. So let me just leave him here and go back to my own path and just kind of go along that. And yes, I've had a couple of people that took me off the path for a while.
Mm.
They took me off the path because I let them. You know, we also, when we try to heal, I believe that if we start taking responsibility for where we are,
Mhm.
that alone is empowerment, because that is going to take us from like point A to point B. Once we take responsibility, now we can decide to do whatever we need to do
Yeah.
and then just get to where we need to go.
Yeah.
If we don't take responsibility, we become the victims.
Mm-hmm.
Having the victim mindset is, I think, is like the worst, because it just keeps you where you are and you're never going to move, because you're waiting for other people to make decisions for you. That's
Mm-hmm.
not empowerment. Empowerment is when you decide, no matter what, I'm making that decision, I'm out of here, right? Probably about 5, 6 years ago, when I saw someone on YouTube and the guy just straight up said, like, everything is my fault. And I was like, oh my God, I started like, what do you mean? Like
Mm.
everything, come on. Other people like, no, no. And he was saying, everything is my fault. Because as soon as I say everything is my fault, from that moment on, I decide to go point A, point B. If I say it's your fault, then I'll just wait for you to change things for me. And I don't want that. I decide that everything is my fault, and then I change it. I was like, well, it was like,
That's a mindset shift right there.
oh my God, yes. Yes, it was
That's a
so.
mindset shift right
And I
there.
started going like, everything is my fault. And then I just like, now I'm going to change it. I want to go here. Oh, literally,
That's actually taking your power back,
absolutely.
because the external circumstances is not what's happening to you. You're now in charge of how to respond from this point on. Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness, I'm glad that you mentioned that. And I want to now take it to your history with toxic relationship. And I
Oh,
know that's a sensitive subject to
I'm
talk
an
about.
expert. I should write a book on that.
Yeah, I know that it was no walk in the park. This was tough on you, and you've been through a lot. I want to ask you, not so much to talk about the toxic relationship itself. We all know what it's about. It's not about the details of it. It's about how you reclaimed your power back when you decided to walk away from it. What did you do?
Well, I've had two significant relationships where I walked away from. With my oldest daughter's dad, I gave birth to my daughter, and then things are just like completely different. Like, I'm like, I didn't sign up for this.
Mhm.
Then what I did is, for me, I waited until I put myself in a place where, because I knew I can't be in this relationship.
Yeah.
When we go through abuse, like, relationship abuse, if we really sit down, that's why I always say, look within yourself, because if we really, really take the time to look within ourselves, we know this is not the right relationship.
Mm.
And then, and I'm sure everybody can identify with this, where you, at the end of the relationship, you look back, like, I should have seen that sign, I should have seen that sign, I should have seen that sign, I should have seen that sign. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, but you don't see it, because sometimes the person masking into something that is not, and sometimes we don't see it because we're blinded by love,
Mhm.
or we are, we're in a space where don't see certain things because of whatever we are in our lives. So again,
Right.
everything is our fault.
You know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So then from there, for me, it was I thought I can't be in this relationship. It was hard to leave because I have a child. So how do I leave? And I never thought I was going to be a single mom, right? And
Yeah.
I said, I have a child, so what am I going to do? And then I thought to myself, do I want my daughter to see this? Like,
Mm.
what is it better? Is it better for her to see me going through this life, or is it better to see me? Yeah, they're both hard, right? Because let's be honest, being a single mom, it's not easy. So
Mm.
I'm not glamorizing that,
Mhm.
but they're both hard. But I said, which hard do I get to choose?
Mm.
Right? So I thought being alone would be better. And
Mm.
so when my daughter is a year and a half,
Yeah.
I decided to leave. I just literally I said, but I also plan things for myself. Like I
Yeah.
make sure that I'm okay financially,
Yeah.
make sure that I have the job, make sure that I have, I'm in a place where I have that community, because sometimes community is important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and I decided, I said, you know what? I don't need this person. I gotta go. Like I'm not gonna stay with somebody just because they pay the bills. It makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah.
So I left. We're gonna talk later about the financial thing that what I do. This is
Yes.
why I'm like so passionate about
Passionate.
it,
Hmm.
because women, we need to make our own money. There's no ifs and buts about it, okay? Gotta make your money. That's it. So for me, then I just decided to leave. I just decided to go because I thought I can't be in that environment. I don't want my daughter to see. And I found a place. I told the guy, I said, hey, in 2 weeks, I'm out of here. You know how you give 2 weeks notice at your job? I,
Yes. You
I gave
gave 2 weeks notice to your relationship. I love that.
I said, I have 2 weeks. I was like,
Here's
yeah,
my notice.
right. He actually did not believe that I'm leaving. It's like, yeah, right. That's it. Started packing my stuff. When he was sleeping, I took my kid, I took my stuff, I dropped it off at the new
You
place,
go,
and
Doina.
woke up.
Good job. Clapping
He
for
woke
you,
up,
girl.
and I wasn't there. And then it was just like, what's going on? I said, well, I told you I'm leaving. I gave you the notice. I told you I'm leaving. And then when he was come back, oh, I'm begging you to come back. And I said,
Oh, yeah.
I
Crocodile
gave it a
tears.
try though a year later, because I have my mom, and my mom, all the time like, oh, this is the father of your child, and you don't want to be a single
Mm.
mom, and blah 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 blah. And I said, okay, fine. Like a year later, I said, I gave in. I said, let's give this another try, and I gave my terms. I said, this is what was gonna be like. I want. This is what I want. This is my list, okay. And then when I tried to go back, I think about a month after that, I was like, you're still the same person. You've never done anything to grow as a person. Personally, the personal growth, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I told him, you've never done any of this stuff. And this time I was in the car. I was like, stop the car. I took my kid and I'm out of the car. And I said, this is done. Don't even try to come back, because I'm not coming back. It's better to just do this on my own, as hard as it is, than do it with you in this way. Because emotional and mental abuse I was getting from this person, it was not something I could live with.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I left. And then the second time with my youngest daughter's dad, again, after I got pregnant, things started to get like it was not good. Then I found things about him, how he was drinking so much, and then
Mm.
became verbally abusive until he became physical abuse. And then I said, this is when I'm done. This is when I know for sure that I don't want to be here. This is not the message I want, especially having two daughters. Even if I would have had two sons, I would not want my sons to see. When you have kids, for me, I'm like, I do not want my kids to see this type of.
That was your motivating factor, I
For
would
me,
say, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But I'd
so,
like also, Doina, for you to send a message to women that regardless whether you do have a child with a person who is abusing you verbally or mentally or physically, it is
mhm,
not okay regardless whether you have a
no,
child with them or not, because that's not okay, period.
it's not okay.
And people need to
Thing is,
understand that there is no excuses, there is no oh, well, maybe I'm not this, and I pushed them to be like this, and
No, it's
no,
not your
no.
fault. Girl, lady, woman, whoever you are, you listening to this podcast, it's not you. It's not your fault. It's not you that's causing it. It's not, it's this other person that is doing it because they don't feel empowered enough and they need to belittle someone so that they can feel better. They can feel above you.
Yeah.
They have nothing else going on for them but that.
They're suffering actually because they're
Yes,
dealing with a lot of mental and emotional instability. They need help themselves. It's just
they
that they
do.
won't admit it to themselves,
Yes,
and no one can help them or make them change or become better people. If they don't make that choice themselves and go and get the help, they will continue to be that way.
yes,
It can get worse with time, it can get worse with age, but let's not wait until we see whether it's going to stay the same or get worse. You decide for yourself your worth, your value, and you say, I deserve better. And if you have
yeah.
children, my children deserve better, and they
Both
should
you and your
not be.
children deserve better, not
Exactly.
just the children. Both deserve better because
Both. Mhm.
kids will benefit when the mom is happy.
Absolutely.
Kids will benefit when the mom is taken care of.
You will be the best version of yourself as a mother,
Absolutely. Yes,
and show up for your children, teach them and guide them and love them the best way when you're not under that stress and fight or flight mode all the time and being your worth and your values being diminished. So
absolutely.
you need to keep that in mind, whoever you are listening to this. If you are experiencing something like that, please understand you're not by sacrificing and staying there for the sake of your children to be in a home with both parents, you're not helping the children. You're
No,
not. You're not helping
no,
yourself. You're not helping the children. You're actually going to create a worse situation because now the children are going to learn the behavior of the father.
yes, because the father learned it from his father.
Exactly. And then where
Yeah,
does the cycle break? When does it
exactly.
end? A brief stop at a station. Those of you who ended a toxic relationship, share with someone who will benefit from your experience. We are here to support each other. What happened after you stood up to yourself, called them out, or maybe broke up and left them? Did they act surprised like they never abused you? Hoovered, tried to get you back? Fake apologies? Fake promises to change and be better if you just give them one more chance? Or did they cut you out like you never existed? Tried to ruin your image and reputation? Made up lies to anyone who would listen in your circle? Or maybe found the next victim to replace you in a jiffy? Share your story. What did you do? How did you feel? How did you get yourself out? What gave you the courage to stand up to yourself and take action to save yourself? What were your main struggles? What was the most difficult thing you had to overcome after you left them? Send a voice note recording up to 5 minutes answering these questions, which will be in the description in the notes. Telling your story with the intention to help others in their journey of reclaiming back their power and healing. Send to guest@healingtrain.ca. Stay tuned for this special episode. Be ready to listen to inspiring and life-altering stories, real, raw, and remarkable. You don't want to miss this journey on the Healing Train. This show is proudly sponsored by Say It Out Loud GG, led by the inspiring Judith Diaz, an avid change maker and passionate advocate for speaking up and raising awareness. The Healing Train podcast is honored to have her support. Now let's get back to the show. Sometimes
That's
you have to
saying,
be the one to end that cycle and
right.
okay, suffer a little bit on your own, but you'll find help and the result will be much better than
The thing
staying
is
in it.
also the way that I see it, hurt people hurt people. So men have learned it from their fathers, their grandfathers, their uncles, there's someone in their life, and they don't know how to express themselves. And the
Yeah,
only way that they can express themselves is through abuse. They
yeah,
feel like for them to be heard, they have to abuse somebody else, right?
yeah, yeah.
um we do, if we pay attention, that's why I always focus on like listen to yourself, to your gut, because
Yeah.
as women our intuition is on point. Okay, so listen to that and do not just deny it because, oh, it's a one-time thing, it's a whatever. And do not sign up for potential. Do not give this person your life based on potential.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for them to change if they want to change. But I don't believe once a man is abusive, it's like
If he
99,
did it once, he will do it
99.
again. So if you
Absolutely,
don't walk away from the first
absolutely.
time, you're
Yes,
actually enabling it and allowing it to happen. And I'm
absolutely.
sorry for
You
the
have to
women
treat
out
it.
there who will
Yeah,
hate me for saying this, but you allowed it because it happened the first time.
it happens the first time,
And
and
that's it.
and,
The first
and we,
time is bye-bye.
right. Now we're going to go back to this other thing because it is, I study social work. I study social work with the feminist perspective at college to help women like me. Before I got into, the second abuse, I'm like, I want to change the world. So I studied this so I can help women.
Yeah.
And after I finished my studies, this when I experienced second abuse. And the second time was worse because my youngest daughter, she was 6 months old. And then so I had no money. I was $60,000 in debt because we had a business together and he drank all the money because he was an alcoholic.
Yep.
And then I had no, when he left, I actually called the cops because, okay, verbal abuse, I'm not saying it's okay, but I was like, I think I can manage this. Whatever, that's not, but once you put your hands on me, and I'm not okay with how you put your hands on me, that's the end, right? So I called the cops and the cops took him and you are going, I know, and I can speak from experience, you're going through all kinds of emotions.
Mhm.
You like feeling, you second guessing yourself. Have I even done, was I supposed to be doing this? What if I damage his life? You don't think, because as women, we also
Mhm.
trained when really young to take care of everybody else but ourselves, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then, I'm thinking, what if I've done the wrong thing? Oh my God, the poor guy, like I'm gonna go save him, or blah, 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 whatever. And then I'm just like, the ups and downs are so real, right?
Mhm.
And then that's why it's important to have a network, to have people around you that are like where you want to be. And you know that they're going to be real with you, not tell you what you want to hear, but tell you what you need to hear. It's like
Yeah.
nope, we're taking the phone away from you and you cannot call him, you cannot talk to him, you cannot, you know what I mean? And so, and then for me, I actually ended up being homeless. I ended up actually living in a shelter with my kids, and it was not pretty, you know. Um, and I've also had the system that was not helping me. I've had the cops that came to my house because we had a renovation business together,
Yeah.
and the business was on my name,
Mhm.
not on his name. And then he went to the cops and said that he needs the tools. And then when I wasn't home with my kids, the cops asked my neighbor to open the door so he can take the tools. So the system was not, because they couldn't believe that I have, like, it's how can a woman have this? And I'm like, okay, so the system was not on my side. The thing is though, if you need to go back, you go back, but you come up with a better plan for the next time you go, for the next time you leave, you know what to do. You can go one step further away from this person,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's easier to go back because the system is not, although we live in Canada, I know we're supposed to have great system for women and it's written really well everywhere. But when it
Is it
comes to actually,
applied?
not very much.
Yeah.
And again, I studied this and I thought to myself, imagine if I was a woman that wouldn't speak the language, I wouldn't be able to get any resources. Imagine if I were a woman that was always surrounded by people in the cultural system where I can't get away from that because, and then imagine if I was someone that didn't even understand how this worked. It was not easy. I wanted him to get the help. I said I pushed for him to get Alcoholic Anonymous, and I pushed for him to get anger management because we have a kid together and he wanted to see the daughter. And I said, if he wants to do it, this is what I want from him. I want him to get this help. And then, so it took about a year. I like went to court so many times just to get that for him. The truth of the matter is, we know that when it comes to abuse, men do it more than women, right? Some women do it too, but
Yeah.
men do it more than women. And we also know that they do it because this is a learned behavior.
Yeah.
They learn it from, and also the way that we work in our society, and I'm speaking for Canada. I don't know what else, how it is in the other parts of the world, but in Canada, we're supposed to have a system that's supposed to help. We don't have much services for men to help them. When I believe that in order for us to change all of this, we have all these resources for women. We have women shelters, we have women therapy, we have women this, but for men we don't. So we need to have that, because if we don't want, because what happens, the man is out there free in the world, he doesn't get any help and support, and not everybody has money to pay for this help and support, or not everybody is mandated by the system to do it, because it's so much paperwork. It's so much easier to say, you out in the world, that we're just going to help the woman, and then we're just going to send you back in the world. And what do? They go back in the world and they meet another woman, and they will do the exact same thing to that woman. So I think the system has to be better, where we get help for both men and women. When an incident happens, they both have to get the help. you know that's what I think. But who am I to say that? Yes, but that's
No, it starts by this though, Doina. It starts by having these conversations, by bringing awareness
right.
to what is flawed
Right.
and what we need to work on, and then action to follow. But first, it
Right.
starts from an idea, right? From
Right.
talking about it.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and also talking about your personal experience and
Mhm.
how things developed for you. I'm
Yeah,
very glad to hear that you are doing much better and
that was
you,
15 years ago, so I grew a lot in 15
yeah,
years.
you've been through a lot. It's been a
Yeah.
journey, right?
Yeah.
And the journey of healing is ongoing because I can tell you also from personal experience that when you go through just one toxic relationship of whatever that is, whether it was parents growing up with them and they were toxic or abusive, or on top of that, a relationship one, two, three, four, five, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's a pattern that we end up finding ourselves in because we haven't healed ourselves, because we didn't realize that we attract those individuals, and I'm going to say men and women. It's something that we need to heal within ourselves. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
We need to heal ourselves before we get into another relationship. We need to see what is
absolutely.
it? What is it in us that we need to work on, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just gonna take it from there.
absolutely. And I think this is why, when you have it again, taking that time to listen to yourself, to figure yourself out,
Yeah.
when you've been through an abusive relationship, you leave, you take that time to go back into your inner self, and pay attention, and come back to, like to say, the drawing board, or come back to your younger self, and say, what did I actually want from myself,
Yeah.
and how can I heal through this, and also, what have I learned from this?
Yes.
Because we got to take what we learn from this and bring it forward with us to the next relationship. What some people make the mistakes, they don't take the time, and they bring that trauma right back to another relationship, and then they end up into, like,
Hmm.
hey, we got to pay attention. We look at them and say, hold on a second, why is it all these things are happening the same over and over and over?
Yep.
Who's the common denominator here? Oh, I am. Okay, so again, it's my fault. Everything is my fault. How do I take time? Because the only person that we can change is ourselves. We
Yeah.
can't change the other person. I can't change you, you can't change me. So
Exactly.
I can only change me, and that actually, it sounds so much better, because now it's easier to say, I'm taking the responsibility on myself, which means I can change me, I can work on myself, and I can become the better version of me.
Mhm.
It's not my responsibility. Other people, they're not my responsibility. They have to take that on for themselves. For
Exactly.
me, I'm just like focusing on me. And that's the only thing I can do. And once I focus on myself, I'm raising my vibration, and automatically what we get to see, and because there's that transformation that's happening, right?
Yep. Yep.
We start to see people that are at the lowest vibration, and you're like, wait a minute. And then you start to meet people that the higher vibration to where you are, and then you recognize, these are the people I need to hang out with now. This are
Yep.
going to be the people that are going to be my community. And you also get to recognize that these people get to teach you something.
Mhm.
Everyone that you meet get to teach you something about yourselves, about the world, about everything. So just keep that open mind, you know
Yeah. So you took the responsibility and you ran with it to the
Yeah.
point that you created a course. Talk to us about your course.
Thank you. So, yes, as I mentioned, I have a huge passion for financial literacy. So, I was $60,000, like 15 years ago, I was $60,000 in debt, homeless with two kids. One of them was not even 1 year old. I was in the shelter. I had to be on welfare. I had to depend on food bank, and then I said to myself, I can't be in this position anymore. One thing my daughter, my oldest daughter said to me, she was almost 7 years old then. We were still living in the shelter. And she said to me, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. And I'm like, okay, very powerful. Because I just sat there like, I did not expect that. We're just sitting at dinner table. And then she comes and she says, Mom, I love you so much. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. And I was like, what kind of example am I giving my kids by the way I live my life? Because that's how I realize is how important it is for us to make the decisions for ourselves to impact. If we don't have kids, there's people around us that we get to impact, right? So
Someone's always watching you.
someone's always watching and they get to be influenced by you and they say, I want to be just like her. And then when I thought to myself, well, I need to live my life in a way where she gets to live her life how I want her to live her life. Because of course I want the best for my children, right? I moved out of the shelter. Then I just started talking to people about money and how they work because I didn't know. I thought I knew stuff, but it was more like around like, let me pay all the bills. And if I have anything left over, I'll save. If not, then I guess I don't have it. I'm poor, right? Well, first, what I did is I went back into myself and I said, what's important to me, right? And I said, I would love for my kids to have good education. So I said, okay, so I need to start with that. And then I started seeking people that can tell me about education. How do I plan for my kids' education? And then so I found this person, and then she came to my house and she started explaining to me about RESP. And I'm like, I'm on welfare. I don't know if I can afford this. And then she goes, well, the minimum we can do is $20 per child. And I said, I'll figure it out. And then I started investing. It was $40 a month out of my welfare paycheck, okay, to put into my kids' education. And I'm saying this welfare paycheck because welfare paycheck does not even give you enough to pay all the bills.
I know.
So I thought to myself, which means I have to go to the food bank more often. You know what I mean? Can I find another food bank so I can get food from? Because now I want to put my money to where it matters to me.
Yeah.
And then I put my hands in any and all financial education I could get.
Yeah.
Anyone that could talk to me about financial literacy, I'll be there listening. And I learn about investments. I learn about savings. I learn about insurance. I learn about all of this stuff and what you can do with money, which I'm thinking, why is this not out there in public for people to, why is it not out there? And so I decided I want to do something, I want to educate people. So I created a course called Money Made. And the course right now focuses on helping kids that are 16 to up to 21 and their families. So because I think if we want to educate the next generation, we have to educate the parents too, because you can't, because, like I was talking earlier, sometimes
There's influence. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter what I teach the kids. If the parents are not following, they're not doing that.
Yeah. If they're not on board, they will just it will ruin everything that you're doing from one end.
Absolutely.
You're trying to teach the child, and then the parent just
yeah. So I'm just, and my goal is to have 1 million people come through my course to teach them. I want to help 1 million families to come in to learn about financial literacy, to learn how they can invest, how they can work together. Because speaking of trauma, we have money trauma too. Sometimes when we go to trauma, like let's say relationship trauma, sometimes we see that if we had the money, we can get out. If we don't have the money, we can. And then we're just thinking like, oh, we just don't deserve certain things. And it takes
certain beliefs actually that are behind that have to heal to get to the next level, right? So you got to dig deep. Where is this belief coming from? Who taught me this? Where did I learn this from?
Yes, because sometimes we learn about money management from our parents. We get these messages. Oh, money
and
is
society too, because everything is in your face, right? Society also
the
had a
parents
factor.
learn it from it's not their fault. I'm not saying this parents' fault. I'm just saying that this is all they know, this is what they teach you. So like my mom taught me, like when you get paid, you pay the bills first. And if you have anything for you, then you pay yourself. Now I'm different. Like I'm paying myself first. Like I want to make sure I have my things done, and then I figure out the bills after. Like and I actually
Smartly, of course, you're doing it, smartly.
yeah. Well, I have a budget.
Yeah.
I track my spending. I have a relationship with my money now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I might not have a good relationship with my kids on some days, but I have a really good relationship with my
Relationship with the
money.
money.
Because
I
I look
love
at my
that.
money, it's like, okay, sometimes the kids are, right now my kids are teenagers, so they're like, oh,
Yeah, it's a tough
doesn't know
age.
anything. Yes,
Uh-huh.
but I challenged myself in 2021. Yeah, 2021. I challenged myself. I was making, I saved $25,000 that year. That was basically half of my paycheck. I was only making $50,000 back then. So I saved half of that because I put money on paper. I wrote a set of goals. What do I want? And then how much money would it cost? And then I just saved the money so I can put down payment to buy my first home, And then last year I saved $10,000. I didn't make, I'm making more money now, but I did not change. My salary didn't change. My money didn't, my income didn't change. I've challenged myself. Can I save $10,000 and still live a life that I want, that I like, and and save the $10,000 without increasing my income? And I did it. I saved $10,000 and I renovated my kitchen. So I was like, okay, I can actually do it. So my goal is to teach people how to do the same thing, because a lot of times it's not how much money we make, it's what we do with the money.
Yes.
And it's a mindset thing. It's all in the mindset. All of it is like how we think about money, the relationship we make with money, and understanding what's available. Because sometimes what happens is people are not educated when it comes to money. And they walk into a bank or they talk to a financial advisor and they sell them what they have to sell. They don't even need it.
Doesn't mean that that's what's best for you. Doesn't mean that that's
Absolutely.
the route to go.
Absolutely. So that's why it's good for people. I want people to understand that you got to work with where you are, with your goals and what you need. And because one example that I like to give to people is this: you're a family of four and you need a car. You don't think about anything. You just say, I need a car, right? And then you go to the dealership and they sell you a 2-seater convertible. And you come home like you're excited because it's a 2-seater, it's convertible, it's sexy, it's nice, like, oh my God. And then you go home, you're like, but what am I going to do with this? Like, oh my, what are we do with the other 2 people? You know what I mean? That's why it's important to have the mindset to think, this is what I need. This is what I need this for. And then I can find that product or service that meets my needs, not the other people's needs.
Yeah. So 1 million is your goal. 1 million people to be educated, because it's not so much about the course, it's about the result of that course. It's about education, it's about awareness, it's about doing things differently, it's about changing the dynamic between and the conversations that are happening between teenagers that are getting into adulthood and their parents, right? It's all of that put together. I'm so excited for you, and I know that with hard work and of course in believing, if you believe that 1 million people, and that's actually a small number, 1 million people, you should shoot for higher. But if you want to shoot for 1 million right now, that's okay. Let's shoot for 1 million. And then when the 1 million comes,
I
and
said
I
a
know it
million
will,
families.
you
So
can go for the next.
1 million families, it means like you have at least 3 people for family. That means like
There
it's
you go.
at least 3 million people, right?
Yeah, that's nice. That's
Yes.
a lot of people educated in the world.
Yes. That's my goal. Yes.
I love that. I love that. Oh my God, Doina, we talked about so many subjects today, and I think our winner was the toxic relationships and helping people understand their value and not to settle for less than what they deserve, and that abuse is a no-no, and to take responsibility for their decisions, for their choices, not living in victimhood state, to know that there's help out there and seek it. Okay. To
educate yourself about money and how you can get yourself out of there. And for women to know that they must have an income at all times so they never feel that they are under anyone's mercy for
Yes.
their basic needs and survival.
Yes.
That is very important.
We gotta do more than surviving. We gotta thrive. So yes.
Love that.
Yes.
I love that. And above all is to take our power back. Know that we always are in charge of our own life.
Yes.
No one is in charge of our life. We are.
Yes.
Right? And to show up ourselves unapologetically. Work through the fears. If you got fears, work through the fears. If you got limiting beliefs, work on those. But don't stay there in victimhood state saying, oh, well, then that's what everybody around me is like that. So I guess it's not possible.
Right.
If you believe that it's not possible, hey, it's not going to be possible. But if you believe it will be possible, you will thrive. You will do better financially. You will have a healthy relationship because you can choose to leave the unhealthy, toxic one.
Right.
You can just show up in the world, you know? I mean, no one is saying that it's easy work, right? But
right.
You gotta put in the work. You gotta believe in yourself first. And you gotta believe that that life that you dream of is out there, is not so far out of reach. It's not a fantasy that some people can tell you, oh, what you're thinking of is a fantasy. No, it's not a fantasy.
It's not a fantasy.
It can happen.
It can. Yeah.
Right. Doina, before we go, if you may just share with us one powerful advice for someone who's in a toxic relationship and doesn't know what to do, feels stuck. One thing that they can do right now.
Whew. I'm going to give a professional advice. If you live in Canada, there's the Assaulted Women's Helpline. Call them. It's free to call. And if you go on their website, you can delete the traces so nobody can know that you actually checked that website.
Yeah.
But personally, and as someone that has been through abuse, the one piece of advice that I have, just believe that you're worth more than that. And take actions to get out of that relationship, no matter what the cost, because you don't want to choose the hard what other people. Okay, let me go back a bit. It's like to choose your hard because it's not easy to leave, but it's also not easy to stay. So at the same time, if you leave that relation, the abusive relationship, is you are in control of your life. You get to decide what you do from there on. You don't get to wait for people to decide for you, because you want to live your life to the point where you say, I did everything I wanted to do. I lived my life to the point where I have nothing more to spare, and then also think that you get to fill your cup. Fill your cup with energy, fill your cup with good people, fill your cup with like everything good that you deserve, and you deserve everything, and there's a saying, before your cup runneth over, you can't give to other people. So right now, fill your cup with people, with the right people, fill your cup with the right energy, and just like decide that you're worth not having to be abused or to allow that person to abuse you. And you're not at fault. It's up to them. It's their decision that they're making. And if they choose to treat you in a way where you don't want to be treated, then you also choose to leave. There's no amount of words that a bad person can say to you makes it true, right? If they say that you're not worth it, you can't do it without me. Or if it wasn't whatever, if it wasn't for me, all of that stuff that they say is just to manipulate you. Just know that you're worth it. And I did it. I got out of relationships, and anyone can do it.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Doina, for the tip, for the advice, for your vulnerability, for the conversation that I know will help people out there just by watching and listening to this. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Before you hop off the train, if something in today's ride stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Hit follow and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Want to dive deeper or have a topic you'd love us to explore? I'm all ears. Drop your questions, thoughts, or suggestions. We're in this healing journey together, and your voice matters here. Just drop a message to guest@healingtrain.ca. I am listening. And until next time, keep on healing you and keep riding with me on the healing train.